G'day guys and welcome to the Bounce Accounts. I'm Cutsy. On today's episode we're going to be looking into Ange Postecoglou's 30-man squad. He is just picked for the World Cup coming up in less than a month away now. How ridiculous is that? It is so close now. I cannot wait. It's going to be a great tournament. Probably not for us Socceroos fans, as we've got the group of death, to be honest with you. But hopefully the new players that we've selected can have some fun, can go out there, learn from this massive experience. That is the biggest sporting event and nearly one of the biggest events in the world is the FIFA World Cup in Brazil. So basically we'll just be running down the players who made it, the players who didn't make it, and who I think will be the 23-man squad that will actually go to Brazil, and my 11. So obviously once they have the farewell game against South Africa, we'll be getting together, myself, Ellis and some other guys, and we'll be doing our World Cup preview of each group, who we think will get through those groups, and then from beyond. So basically let's run down the fixtures we've got. So basically how it works at the moment is the Socceroos will face South Africa on the 26th of May at ANZ Stadium, so that's our farewell game. Then we'll depart for Brazil 2 days later with 3 guys cut off from the squad then. So those 3 guys will be unlucky not to make it, sorry. And then on the 2nd of June, a 23-man squad will be announced. So that means the other 4 players will actually still stay in Brazil if they would like to. Most of them do, because it's really important for them obviously to be around the squad, so they can learn the Postecoglou way and also just keep them there. But once that, on the 2nd of June, if anyone gets injured from that point though, I think it is nearly impossible unless FIFA allows for another player to come into the squad. So if an injury happens in training, I think it is actually bad luck. They've changed the rule now. So yeah, the features for the Socceroos though is we have Chile in our first game on the 13th, sorry. Then we play Holland on the 18th, so by then we already have 6 points already locked in, so we can probably play some not as good guys against reigning world champions Spain on the 23rd of that is June. So basically we'll go through the squad now, go through goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders and forwards. So basically starting off with the goalkeepers, we've got Eugene Galekovic was selected. He's from Adelaide United, local guy here. Great to see him. He won the world best keeper for the A-League again. So he's actually made 8 caps for the Socceroos, and he's actually had 6 clean sheets when he's been playing for the Socceroos. So he's actually the most experienced Socceroo goalkeeper in the squad at the moment, because Matt Ryan is next. He's 22 years old. Club Bruges, he's had an outstanding season. Even ex-coach Graham Arnold has said that Real Madrid are interested in him. What's great, Australia does produce some great goalkeepers, so it's great for him. Then we have Mitch Langerak, 25 years old, plays for Borussia Dortmund. So he's been their number 2 for nearly 3 or 4 years now. He played a couple of games this year, but he's actually had 3 Socceroos caps. Next is Mark Birighitti, 23 years of age, Newcastle Jets. Another great young goalkeeper. So there's a lot of youth there in the 3. I would suspect out of those 4, Mark Birighitti will not make it, but he'll actually travel over to Brazil anyway to be around the squad. Galekovic will be there just in case for a bit of a more probably cooler head, more experience. Obviously not in this world stage, more of an A-League stage. He hasn't really played for any bigger clubs outside the A-League. It's basically only Melbourne Victory and Adelaide United. But he's probably the most cool, calm, collected head out of all those guys. Matt Ryan will start though in goals. He's the number 1 choice at the moment because of the form that he is in. And I wouldn't be surprised if bigger clubs after this World Cup, if he does all right, I know it's unlucky that we've got 3 of the best teams are against us, but could be going in for him. So next we move on to the defenders. Basically the oldest guy in the squad nearly is Luke Wiltshire. So he's survived the cull of the golden generation. He was a surprise packet in the 2006 World Cup when he was selected from League One. So yeah, he's cool head. 79 caps, 8 goals. Dinamo Moscow he plays for. Next we have Mats Peranovic, who's 25 years of age, and he's played 17 times for the Socceroos. He was at the Western Sydney Wanderers this year and was outstanding, probably the best centre-back in the A-League. Next is Ryan McGowan. He plays for, pronunciations here, Shandong Luang Tishan in China. He has 8 caps, he's only 24 years of age. He was an scapegoat for the Brazil game when we played them, and he was played out at right back, and he's a natural centre back, and he got torn to shreds by Neymar. So he, I think, even came out himself saying that he's a natural centre back. He's never really played right back in his career, and because of Neil and Ognenovsky starting in the centre of defence, I think in that game, if I'm correct, he had to be pushed out to the right. But I think he's a centre back, and he'll be definitely in the squad. Next is Ivan Franjic, who's played 7 times for the Socceroos now. He's Brisbane Roar, had an outstanding season at right back, and he's very versatile too, sort of in the Luke Wiltshire mould. He's 26 years of age. He can get forward, also play right wing and centre mid, so it's always good to have in your squad. Next we have the left back, Jason Davidson, who sort of come out of nowhere. He's 22. I think this is his position, and from this World Cup to sort of hold on to for the rest of his career nearly, I think, because we've always had a problem lately with this left back position. He's played 5 times now for the Socceroos, and he plays for Hercules in Holland, but I think he is actually going to be leaving them anyway and searching for clubs in England. There's some that are interested in him in the Championship, so best of luck to you, Jason, for this World Cup and future endeavours after. Next is Curtis Good. So he has been named in the squad, even though he does have a hip injury at the moment. So he plays for Dundee United on loan from Newcastle United in England. He's 21 years of age, so he's a young future Socceroo. Basically, he's been thrust into the limelight now. He's only played 1 game though, so he hasn't really been around it much, but his youth is important right now. He's been excellent for Dundee, one of their best players, but again, he's got injured at the wrong time for the Socceroos, which is just not what we want. But he's a left-sided centre-back, what we need at the moment, and so he can also play on the left side of defence, left-back, so it's good. Next is Alex Wilkinson. He plays for John Book Hyundai Motors in Japan. Korea, actually. He only has 1 game, and that was, unfortunately, his mix-up in the Ecuador game. I don't think he'll actually make it, but that's just because I think they'll go for youth in the end, and he'll actually end up picking Bailey Wright. So he's been the biggest bolter probably for the squad at the moment. He plays for Preston North End at the moment. Fox Sports has been doing a lot of coverage over the last couple of days about Bailey. He's 21 years of age, and he was actually dropped by the Victorian Institute of Sport and was then not picked up by the AIS or any A-League club for the fact of the matter. And then he moved over to Preston. Tried with them. They picked him up when he was 18 or something, I think, and he's worked his way out now and actually captained them this season in League One. And I think they're close to actually promotion, if I'm correct. They're in the playoffs. So Bailey, young centre-back, they've called him basically the coolest head on the pitch. He's been given the captain's armband a number of times this season, so I think he's a bolter, and I think they've selected him here to give him a shot. To be honest with you, he'll play in this harder. He might not play, but he will be in the squad, I think. And he will definitely, if he doesn't make the squad, the 23-man squad, he'll definitely be a part of the 27 to have the experience of going over to Brazil. So we now move on to the midfielders. Mark Bresciano, everyone's favourite, is in there, 34 years of age, the oldest guy nearly. I think, is he? Yeah, he's older than Tim Cahill. He's the oldest guy in the squad. He's just come off a 4-month FIFA ban, though, for an illegal transfer. He plays for Al Gharafa. He's played 73 games and has 13 goals. The most experienced of the midfielders. I would expect him now, depending on how Jedinak pulls up with his injury, to be starting there with Mark Milligan. But we'll have to just wait and see. I don't see Milligan, Bresciano and Jedinak all playing in the diamond of the 3, just because I don't think there's enough youth and pace in that midfield 3, but he'll probably come on to shore him up at some stage. Next is Matt Mackay, Mr. Versatile for Brisbane Roar. He's now played 45 times for the Socceroos. He was a mainstay during Holger Ossick's era, and he started coming in when Pim Verbeek. His versatility is key. I don't see him playing at left back though, because he'll get torn by the Spanish. He'll get torn by everyone. Next is Mila Jedinak, who was selected at 29 years of age, 43 caps with 4 goals at Crystal Palace, their captain. Played every minute of the A-League this year until the last game where he actually came off injured. So expect him maybe to take a couple of days off. I think Postecoglou said today in his press conference that he will be taking now. He probably won't play in the South Africa game, just so he can be given time to rest, and then he'll be ready for when the World Cup comes along. He should be ready to play. Expect him to be ready, and he's going to be key because it's an excellent season for Crystal Palace. Next is Mark Milligan, who was actually rumoured to go to Crystal Palace in the middle of the season, but turned him down to stay at Melbourne Victory. He's played 27 times, but he's actually been a part of the 30-man squad, and I think he was a part of the last World Cup, and maybe even the one before it, but he never actually played for the Socceroos at that stage. He was there as one of the youngsters, because he is versatile. He can play in centre-back if needed, he can play right-back, left-back, centre-mid, so he's a very important player for the Socceroos. Next is ex-Adelaide United player Dario Vidicic. He's 27 years of age now, so he's not young anymore, so this might actually hinder against Dario, but he has played 21 times and he's scored 2 goals. He's in Sweden for Sweden. That's not Sweden. Switzerland for Sion. Next is Tommy Orr. We all thought he was going to make the World Cup squad 4 years ago. I even remember writing one of my opinion pieces for Year 11 English on it, but he didn't make the squad then. He's 22 now. He's played 13 games. Well, I would have thought by now he would have played a lot more than that, but he plays for FC Utrecht. He'll start on the left wing, so that's great for the Socceroos. Next is James Holland, who plays for Austria Vienna. He's been excellent this season. I expect him to get a lot more game time in this World Cup. He is 24, so he's sort of the future now for the Socceroos in the centre of midfield. I think with Bresciano sort of leaving, Holland will come in. He hasn't got enough of a chance, I think, over the last couple of years. He has been around the squad a lot. They just haven't really had enough. I think Holger Osip just didn't trust him enough yet, and that was the whole point of his reign sort of coming to an end, because he would have stayed with the old guys for this World Cup. Next is James Parisi, who's come back to play for Melbourne Victory, but he's still actually contracted to Atalanta in... How good's my pronunciations this week? Atalanta in Italy. He's played 9 times. He scored 1 goal with what was actually scored here at the Adelaide Oval when we played New Zealand. He's 25 now, so he's not a young buck, but I think he'll be one of the guys who will unlikely miss out. Next is Tommy Rogic. He's come out of nowhere over the last couple of years. Plays for Celtic. Has been on loan at Melbourne Victory. And I think he hoped his Melbourne Victory spell would be a lot better, to be honest with you. He hasn't played great for Melbourne Victory in that time, but he was getting match fitness that he wasn't getting at Celtic. But he will probably be starting in the number 10 role for the Socceroos. Next is Adam Sirota, who also plays for FC Utrecht. He's 25 now. Unlikely for him also, he's had injuries, but I think he's going to be a part of this new generation of Socceroos. Oliver Bozanic has had an awesome season in Switzerland for Luzern. He scored a number of goals coming over from the Central Coast Mariners. He's 25 now, so he's also not a young guy, but he's going to be very important for the Socceroos over the number of years to come. Then 2 guys who I don't expect to make it to the 23-man squad are Josh Brillante, who plays for Newcastle Jets, and Massimo Luongo, who plays for Swindon Town, who's actually just received the captaincy a number of times this season also, at 21 years of age, ex-Tottenham player. I expect one of those 2 to win the battle to be actually taken over as a part of the train-on squad for the 27 men who go over. I see them though with the amount of central midfielders we already have in Bresciano, Mackay, Jedinak, Milligan, Vidicic, Holland, Rogic, Bozanic. I don't see enough spaces for those guys actually playing in the team. Next is Ben Halloran, who's come out of nowhere. He is an exceptional talent. He's ultra lightning fast, so quick. He's actually now playing for Fortuna Düsseldorf. 21 years of age. He used to be at Gold Coast and Brisbane Roar until going over there. He scored 6 goals I think in 5 games or the other way around to end the season. He's been in outstanding form, so I think he's going to be one of the important players coming into this World Cup. I know on Fox Sports they were talking about today will probably be sitting back and absorbing a lot of pressure in games, and he will be hitting on the counter-attack. We think Postecoglou will play that sort of way, because you're not going to go to Spain and try and play against them. They'll expect you probably to sit back. Especially with Holland, even though we do beat Holland a lot, but on the counter-attack will be important with Tim Cahill up top and having 2 quite fast guys with probably Orr and between Leckie, and probably Halloran's going to win that battle for the sprinters, because pace in these World Cups is key. Because if you look at some of the Spain squad that we'll be talking about in our Group B preview, that the pace will be important for the Socceroos, and that's where we might be able to get a goal or 2 in this tournament, is beating teams with pace on the counter-attack. So Halloran will be important, and he will definitely go. He's young, so he's got another good 10 years with him, but he's actually been one of the players who has left the A-League and has improved, because there's been a lot of guys. I know it was between Halloran and Abini, a lot of people were thinking maybe a year ago or 2 years ago who would make that next step up when going overseas, because a lot of young Aussies with pace go overseas and come back in a couple of years. You use Dario Vidicic as an example, doesn't fit in, but he's definitely fitted in, and hopefully he does well, and maybe this is on for better and brighter things. But then we move into the forwards now, and Australia's favourite son, Timmy Cahill, number 4, Timmy Cahill, 67 games, 31 goals, plays for New York Red Bulls at the moment, so he's in form. He's playing, he's got match fitness. He's going to be very important. And we all love Timmy. It'll be between him and Milo Jedinak who gets the captaincy for this World Cup. It's obviously Timmy's probably last major tournament. He'll probably play in the Asian Cup. But hopefully his style of play works, and he'll probably be playing up front. So we move on to the final 3 players who were selected. For Joshua Kennedy was selected. We all love Jesus. His scoring record for the Socceroos is outstanding with 33 games and 17 goals. He plays for Nagoya Grampus in Japan. So yeah, I think Kennedy will go as a sort of bench guy that you can bring on if we need a goal. Especially his height will trouble defenders, but it's obviously going to get to the point where is it worth it with Kennedy, but I think he'll definitely go. This will be his last sort of hurrah. Matthew Leckie will go also. He's played 6 caps now. He scored 1 goal for FSV Frankfurt. I think he's signed for someone else at the moment, but that transfer obviously hasn't gone through the window, so he's still contracted to these guys till after the World Cup. But he's going to be important. 23 years of age, he's got lightning pace. So Matthew Lake is going to be important. The next is Adam Taggart, who scored 15 or 16 goals in the A-League this year. He's 20 years of age. I think he'll go over with the training squad though and be important. He's actually scored 3 goals in 4 games for the Socceroos. That was though in the East Asian Cup. So that's the squad we've got now, guys. I'll just go through the 7 players who I don't think will make it. Mark Birigidi, I don't think will make it, but we'll go over with them. Alex Wilkinson, that would be my decision by actually keeping Bailey Wright on the side. James Teresi, Adam Serrato, Josh Brillante and Massimo Luongo won't make it, and then also Adam Taggart. So now into some of the big names that didn't make it, because I know a lot of you on our Facebook page are asking why is there no Ognenovski and stuff. So Ognenovski didn't make it. He was very disappointed not to get the call, even in the 30-man squad, but we can see now with what Ange Postecoglou is doing, he's actually going full youth and playing all those guys now. So also Lucas Neal, captain still of the Socceroos, who's now playing for Doncaster, didn't make it. Michael Zullo, a local Adelaide United guy, has come back from FC Utrecht too, who was on loan at Adelaide United, didn't make it. He lost the battle with Jason Davidson for the left-back position. I think that is a correct call because I don't think Zullo has had the most outstanding season at left-back. He's been alright, but he's actually been played forward at left-wing a lot of times, and I think Ange would have actually liked to see him probably playing more at left-back. Then we also have Jackson Irvine, who's another young player at Kilmarnock, who actually made his debut in the last Socceroos game, I think. So he'll be a part of the future coming through. But it's good we have this sort of depth of players that actually we thought could actually make it. Then the injured list, we've got 4 guys who would definitely be in this squad if they weren't injured. We've got Reece Williams, who I think would actually be captain of the squad. Trent Sainsbury, who I think those two would have been our starters in centre-back. Then we have Chris Hurd, who still hasn't made his Socceroos debut, and he's been around for forever. He's still playing at Aston Villa, but I think he'll be released at the end of this season. And then also Robbie Cruz, who would have definitely been starting on the right wing. So guys, what do you make of this Socceroos squad? Who would you put in? Who would have you taken out? Who will be the 7 players that will actually miss out on the squad? So basically, myself and Alice will be getting together with some other guys here. We'll be talking about every group in the World Cup, who we think will be getting out of those groups, and yeah, so basically please tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We like needing a lot of interaction with you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and this YouTube page, so please comment below, and please contact us on all the various social media outlets. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, and we'll catch you later for the rest of the World Cup preview. Cheers.